Do we have a problem in our rural communities, in our 2A sanctuary states? Are we safe anywhere we go anymore? I think we should talk about it on this episode of the Range Minded Podcast. Stay tuned. All right, I had other things I thought about talking about in this episode of the Range Minded Podcast. I'm not quite sure where this is actually going to go, but I do want to talk about a couple of things that are affecting my state as we speak right now, and there's good reason for it. Okay, we talk about Second Amendment stuff on this podcast. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can hang out and learn, and we can talk about things, or you can move on. It doesn't matter to me. My voice is my voice. If you like what I have to say, awesome. And if that be the case, like, share, comment, whatever. You know the drill. But I want to talk about something, even though it's infecting, well, I guess that works too, affecting my state. It's also affecting many, many other states. A couple things we're going to talk about. One of them is definitely affecting every state in the nation, some with greater extent than others, but the other is really affecting the Western United States. And maybe we'll start with that one. I actually didn't record footage of this because I hadn't planned on talking about this, but in my area, and maybe I'll try and remember when I'm on the editing side, I'll find footage of this and put it up on the screen. So I live, as many of you guys know, in the one of the greatest nations. Well, I do live in one of the greatest nations in the world, but one of the greatest states in the United States. I live in Idaho. We have some amazing scenery, landscape, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people look at Idaho and think, oh, it's just potatoes. Well, it's not. I can walk out my front door. I can see the Grand Tetons. If I drive a few miles, a little more than a few miles, I'm in Yellowstone National Park. That's if I go kind of northeast. If I travel northwest, I'm in some of the most rugged wilderness in at least the lower 48. That's so remote that you wouldn't believe how amazing that it looks. I can travel south. I could be in Utah, which isn't that great, honestly. You know the drill. Or straight west. I can be in Boise. I can be in Oregon. Idaho really is an amazing state, but you don't have to move here. Okay, let's just put that out there too. But because of our rugged wilderness, because of our increasing population from other states that may not understand wilderness areas, I'm not saying that this is because of that. Sometimes there's misunderstandings on how we treat nature and how we enjoy God's creation. So in Idaho right now, there are a lot of new wildfires. And I know you're saying, Steve, this is a 2A podcast. Why are we talking about fires? Well, just ride with me down this road for a minute, all right? So, what day was it? Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday, Monday, or Tuesday. No, it was probably Wednesday. I'm getting old. We were at a place, it's called Heisey, right? It's just this little tiny pool that's been around, honestly, since pioneers came through. There's some natural hot springs there. Eventually, a family decided to make a swimming pool there. Obviously, it's open to the public. We didn't go to the pool, but there's a pretty fun little pizza restaurant right there that they've been making pizza as long as I can remember. It's been there a long time. Which I know you might also say, Steve, I've watched your shows. You can't even remember yesterday. Fair, but I do remember long-term stuff. My short-term memory sucks. Let's just go with that. I'll blame it on the fainting spells a few years ago. How about that? Anyway, as we were driving home from the pizza restaurant, a crazy storm kicked up. Crazy. And it's been unusually warm in Idaho this time of year. We've dealt with it before. I remember as a kid growing up and it being really hot for quite a while. working construction, I vividly remember days working in triple digit temperatures, framing houses. It's not that we don't get hot. It's just the amount of days in a row where we've been hot and dry. We've had a little bit of rain, but not like we should be. And we're in a drought. The Palisades Reservoir is probably about 200 feet low, which means nothing to you unless you know how big Palisades is. That's a lot of water. Palisades is a pretty good-sized reservoir that feeds this part of the state and eventually works its way down to American Falls and then farther east and, down to the Columbia or whatever. So we're hot, we're dry, which brings in the issue of some pretty nasty storms because when cold air meets warm air, we don't need to get into the weather science. I'm not a weatherman or a meteorologist, but I do understand how the weather works in the side of the state. So as we left, the storm kicks up, lots of lightning, and crazy. Super windy, a little bit of rain, but mostly just an electrical storm. Now, you put the hot, dry temperatures mixed in with the cold atmosphere, churns up the wind speed a little bit, and then lots of lightning. That is a catastrophic mixture. A perfect storm, if you will, only far less Al Gore-ish. So in this area, there's lots of camping up by High C, lots of camping, lots of recreation, some pretty good little rock climbing walls. You go up further to the canyon, there's a nice ski resort. Obviously not open right now, but they do have mountain biking and hiking trails up through there as well. But it's very much oriented around the outdoors, hunting, hiking, camping, that kind of stuff. Anyway, this storm, I think it was the storm, or I assume this was the cause. We don't know for sure yet. But a wildfire started. And it was crazy, actually. And it is crazy now. Last I checked, I'm not going to go look right now, but this morning it had burned about 1,200 acres, which isn't a lot. That's a great deal, but it's still a problem. As that fire works its way up, there's a kind of a plateau up above High C. There's lots of dry farming, and not the crude, gross, sexual content of dry farming, if that came to your mind, but actual farming where they don't use a lot of water. It's called dry farming. Lots of grain, that kind of thing. So it's dry, the grain's ready to harvest. Maybe some farmers actually got to get to cutting up there. But a grain field, if you've never seen a grain field catch on fire, that's pretty quick and hot and hard to put out. And as that wildfire works its way up, it's going to hit those dry farms, and it could be really bad. In fact, the neighboring county that's really affected from me issued another evacuation order, a pretty good sized chunk of land, because that fire is going to work its way north along some of these small creeks and up there on the plateau of the dry farms. It could get kind of scary. I don't know of any homes that have been destroyed or animals being killed. I don't think anybody has died. Oh, excuse me. But it's still it's a sad thing. It's also a thing that happens in nature. That there's stuff that happens, especially if you don't clear the underbrush through the forest and stuff. You get a lot of that deadfall and stuff that just accumulates over the winters, and you get lots of fuel for big fires like that. And in places there where the fire's at, it is very steep and hard to get to. So, nonetheless, they're working on getting it out. I know there's lots of agencies that have responded to the fire. Now, I've had some friends on X that are a little concerned about my well-being. We are not in any kind of affected area. The fire's not going to get to us. It's about, I don't know, maybe 7 to 12 miles away from us. So it's not a big deal. I can see the flames out my front door, or at least we could the other day. and lots of smoke, but the smoke is blowing towards from south to north. That's kind of the way the wind blows around here is moving north, which is another concern for other homes in the area. If it works its way over, if you've ever been to the Teton Valley, a couple towns called Driggs and Victor, beautiful. It could work its way over those mountains. There's lots of very expensive homes in that area. I don't foresee it getting that way, but you never know. It has to traverse quite a ways before it actually gets into that valley. Okay, so why am I talking about forest fires on a 2A podcast? Well, in life, and then this ties into the next topic we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, but in life, things happen that we don't calculate for. Things happen that we have no control over. Obviously, you can look at that in a way of self-defense, right? Sometimes, well, every time, if we're a victim, we don't choose the circumstance, the place, the time, any of that stuff. It just happens. So what are you doing to prepare for anything? Right? We also are a fairly seismic area. We could have some pretty massive earthquakes. When I was a kid, we had the, I think they called it the Chalice quake, but really Idaho's tallest mountain is Mount Bora, and that fault line runs right along it's called the Lost River Range. Freaking awesome in that area, by the way. But the fault line shifted 11 feet in that earthquake. 11 feet in one earthquake. So it was a pretty large earthquake. I was probably, 5 or 6 maybe. I can't remember for sure. But we live in a place that a lot of things can happen. It's not as active as like maybe California, Hawaii, or Alaska, but we get surprises in many aspects in Idaho, and everywhere you live, no matter where you live, it may not be earthquakes, it may not be fires, maybe it's a hurricane, maybe it's tornadoes. There's things that affect your life that at random times that we don't select. Again, this forest fire, there's lots of camping going on in these areas. And when the firefighters and the officials showed up, they said, hey, you have to get out of here right now. People that have established campsites or whatever, you just leave your tent, you get in your pickup and you go. Probably. The latest evacuation order north of the fire to where it's going to, the sheriff's office said, you're not taking anything with you. You have no time. Leave now. You have to leave right now. So what are you going to take? What are you going to put in your vehicle to bounce? Are you going to drive more than one vehicle out? Do your kids know how to drive? Do your wife knows how to drive? Do you have a go bag? Do you have your documents in order? Do you have stuff on a stick drive? Are you going to be able to open your safe to get this stuff out of the safe that you claim is going to be secure? What about firearms? Are you going to take other life-saving tools with you? Like, have you even thought about this? Have you wrapped your head around the immensity of reality? Or you like people close to me, just don't worry about it. You worry about too much. Just relax. You stress out about everything. I heard that today, actually. You're stressing out about too many things. That was when it come to conceal carry everywhere I go. You worry about everything. That's all on the news. You spend too much time on the internet, which is true, to be fair. But it's reality. It is reality. We're seeing things happen, which seems like at a more frequent rate, whether it be natural disasters or evil things in the world. Now, it could be that we're seeing things at an increased rate because they're brought to us, to our little flashy screens in our hands, at a more consistent manner, or they actually are happening more often. It seems like the latter might be more of the case. Now, if you're a biblical-minded person, you look at it and you say, yeah, I mean, that's all foretold, obviously. I kind of lean on that side of the stage as well. That as the world gets closer to the end, or whatever you want to call it, the rapture, the second coming, whatever you want to call it, evil is supposed to become more prevalent, and things in nature are supposed to happen in a more frequent manner. Again, that may be reality or it may be perception. You can be the judge of that in your own life. Needless to say, we probably should be preparing for that. And maybe I need to do like a go bag. Would you guys like a go bag video, just a short about things to just put in your bag, ways to be ready when that evacuation order shows up? Would that be something you guys be interested? I might put that down somewhere in the old memory box, because we know how good that saves up there. I just thought I'd bring that up first, because things happen in a manner that we don't expect at a time that we didn't plan for. There's never a perfect time for an emergency anyways. We can also look at that in other aspects. It's not just environmental. Maybe it's mental. Maybe there's things you need to clear up at your mental state to be prepared for when things happen, so you have more control over your emotions and be more focused. Maybe it's financial. That's something I'm dealing with right now. That's as far as I'm going to tell that to you. But emergencies happen in all sorts of ways, and preparedness means prepared in many different ways. And I don't know if there's a human out there that is absolutely prepared for every one of these branches of the preparedness tree. Maybe there is. But there are ways to mitigate issues, right? I think it's important to have some kind of a go bag or a get home bag in your vehicle, if that be the case. We're going to talk about something upcoming that I've got some evidence or some video footage that I'll probably have to edit a little bit to be safe to play so I don't get flagged. But the other stuff's going on that, we should be carrying life-saving tools every day. I don't know if we talked about a couple weeks ago at an LDS church in Utah. I believe it was in Orem, Utah, so south of Salt Lake City. An individual walked into a church building dressed in all black, a black hoodie, had a revolver. Reports were the revolver was unloaded. He walked into the foyer, sat down with the gun next to him, his hand on the gun. Luckily, nothing happened. Again, reports were that the firearm was unloaded. Needless to say, how do I say this without being insensitive? Why was he able to get into the building? That was a question. I know on the buildings it says visitors welcome, but what do you know? Anyway, what I mean is, again, focusing on what I'm trying to say in this whole situation, things happen at an unexpected time, not of our choosing. And what are you doing to mitigate your reaction time, your response capabilities, and everything that has to do with being prepared for situations? So let's move to the next thing. Today is August 1st, not April 1st, August 1st. Another hot day in Idaho. Twin Falls. And by now I know you've seen the footage, you've heard the stories, you've seen some of the worst reporting in Twitter history. There was a shooting at a recently opened In-N-Out Burger in Twin Falls. Why, I don't know. Why people like In-N-Out, I'm still confused. It's not the greatest. So we don't know the motives of the shooter. We do know that, or allegedly, he pulled in the drive-thru first, shot somebody through the drive-thru, and then decided to go on somewhat of a rampage in the Twin Falls parking lot around that area. The In-N-Out parking lot in that Twin Falls area. Sorry. Shot a couple people in a Tesla, allegedly. I mean, we'll show video of that, but you don't see anything really gruesome. You just see him shooting a windshield. I was on a video live listening to somebody from that area that says that was their family was in that car, which is, if that's true, super tragic. There's a lot of unknowns on the reporting, and that's the way an active situation is. So actually, let's hopefully this sound works this week. I'm going to pull up I believe it's this one here. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm super prepared, dog. Super prepared. I think it's this one. No. Where's my mouse? So, let's see here. No, that's not it. Let me pause this. This is how I roll. You know that. Oh, here we go. All right. So, I want to make sure this is the correct video, because I recorded it from a couple different timestamps here, so I got to get it ready to roll. I know I should have staged this better for you guys. I apologize. Okay. You ready? Here we go. So, hopefully you can hear this footage. This, as you can see from the watermark on the bottom, scope report. So rumor has it there was an individual. Oh, I think I did actually see somebody in there. So he blasts, 3 or 4 shots in there and works his way around. Now, there is a lot of speculation just on this individual right now. Obviously, we don't know the full story. And this is something that really drives me nuts. I'm going to show you another image here in just a second. In fact, let me pull it up while we're talking about it. There's something that really, really pisses me off with these people that just want the scoop, right? They're just looking for a scoop, and they want to be the first one to report, so they can say, I said it, I got it right, look, I got it right, even though they're not really getting it right. So you saw from that video, like I said, that was after he apparently allegedly shot through the In-N-Out drive-through. This next picture is just a photograph, but it's allegedly of him. There's a video that I didn't pull up, but this image shows him retrieving his firearm out of his car. So let's do that again. So this picture right here is absolutely, positively just pissing me off. So the image on the left, so you're seeing there's 2 photographs here. The image on his left, in the video, this is he opens his car trunk and pulls out a different firearm. Now, the image on the right, this is the one that's floating around social media like crazy wildfire, saying, this is the guy, we need to identify him. Twin Falls Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI have not released the identification of this guy. Nobody knows who it is. Well, somebody out there knows who it is. And that's the point of people posting on X is, hey, Idaho, let's work together. Let's use social media and find out who this individual is. Now, I want you to really pay close attention to this particular photograph. Let me zoom this in a little bit here. Okay. What do you see? Is there anything that looks funky or odd? First of all, the emblem on the chest of his shirt there, I have seen at least 3 images where that is a different emblem, a different insignia, or a different image on the chest of his t-shirt. Do you think there's a problem there? Yeah, there absolutely is. Now, take a good gander there at his hands, at his firearm. Something looks weird, right? Now, I'm not going to go all Candace Owens on you and say that whatever, somebody manipulated the picture, the FBI is lying to you, all this jive. No, what this is obvious AI slop. Somebody decided to take advantage of an individual's photograph. I'm assuming, like, we're only assuming that they had some kind of video surveillance of this kid, and they edited it with AI or enhanced it with AI. Well, here's my problem. Here's my problem with it. We know that the AI, or the image is AI doctored. How do we know that they didn't doctor the image of the guy's face? You can't tell me, and this is what a lot of people on X are saying right now, is, well, only I've enhanced the image of the guy's face, not everything else. Well, bro, because it is a dude, I assume. Anyways, I guess it's 2026. You never know. They're claiming that they've only enhanced the image for the sake of getting a better look at the guy. Well, that means it's not the real image. That means that face may not belong to that person. It's something AI contrived by some data points on the skull, right? That may not be. Maybe it is. Maybe that is exactly the way this kid looks. But it's not admissible in court, right? That's not like something you can say, yeah, that's totally the guy. I say we use it. Excuse me. And yeah, it's important. That's the dude. That's totally the dude. I guess he's got majorly handicapped hands and a rifle that looks like it went through a forest fire because it's all melted and twisted and weird. Stop. If you're sharing this image, stop it. I don't care if it's only AI enhanced. It's doctored, it's slop, and it's just crappy reporting. Okay? You can't justify that the face is correct even though the rest of the body isn't. That's not how it works. It's an altered photo. That means it's worthless. Or, hear me out, or we could wait to get the freaking information from the investigators and everywhere else and actually report real journalism. We could actually do something with some sort of integrity. Now, there's other people on X that are like, well, you actually expect the feds and the police department to tell you the truth on this? Go put your tinfoil hat up your ass and just stop. Stop it. It's people like you that bitch about misinformation while sharing misinformation. It is so stupid. And what's really pissing me off, particularly about the whole Charlotte Kirk thing, is some huge accounts other than Candace Owens, which has lost all credibility with me. I used to really like her. She is such a buffoon. And you know what? Some of the stuff she might be saying is correct, right? But it's the amount of lies that she's thrown in there at the same time that I don't know what has integrity and what doesn't. And by sharing stuff like this image, I don't know what's real and what's not. So I can't trust anything you say if you're saying, this is the guy. Stop it. It's a moronic approach. You're just trying to get a scoop. That's all it is. People are trying to just get in there and say, I found out first. I knew it. Nobody cares if you had the information first. You're not anything special. You might have got a participation trophy on X. Whoopity-doo, you might have got some extra subs. Okay, awesome. But that doesn't mean anything in reality. It just means you shared something that was inaccurate. And you got an award for that. You got rewarded for sharing something that's stupid and wrong. Cool beans. Good on you. I'm not going to put my integrity on that. Okay? Now, one last image involving this. Man, where did it go? Where did it go? This is what happens when I rename. Here it is. When I rename all my videos before I record them. Okay, let's look at this. This is, again, I'm going to say allegedly, but from a lot of sources, this is coming out. What I just say about trusting other people. But I've seen this on news sources. I've seen this from local sources as well. So here it is. Oh, I guess I gotta do this. So this guy is reportedly an armed citizen. Just gonna loop back here. An armed citizen that engaged the shooter. Now, initial reports were that there were 2 shooters, which I guess technically there were, but this guy from people on the scene said he was actually engaging the bad guy with a gun, and if this is true, like if he actually is legit, then who knows how many lives he may have saved. It's an untold amount. If he wouldn't have had the courage to get out there and do something, who knows? It could have been way worse if this story's true. The other thing, you've seen that, back to that Tesla image or video, I'm not going to pull it back up, but you saw they were just recording, right? They were close enough they could have maybe done something. And it's really easy to armchair quarterback and say, well, I would have just put the car in drive and ran the guy over. I'm not going to lie. I thought the same thing. But what we think we would do in that situation and what we'd actually do in that situation are probably, for the majority of Americans, it's not the same thing. There are a few that would say, yeah, I would put my car in drive and drive over that guy, or do my best to, and actually do it. I would probably do the same thing. I probably would put my car in drive, but I wouldn't do it with my wife and kids in the car. If my family's with me, we're evacuating. If I'm by myself and I have the ability to do my best to resolve a situation, just like the guy in the boonie hat and the suppressed handgun is what it appears to be, that's not what I'm going to do. You see, my family is my priority in this situation like that. My family. Whether it be a fire or a situation where there's some crazy dude shooting people at random, my family will take priority. And I will do everything I can to keep my family safe in that situation. If I'm by myself, I don't know. The right answer is to get out of there. The courageous answer is obviously to do something. We don't know until we're in that kind of a situation. And I think a lot of you people know somebody who acts tough, but when the cards get pulled for them, they kind of cower out. There are some amazing heroes. Like if that dude that we just looked at, if he was an armed citizen getting involved to stop a gunman, he's a hero. He had balls of steel. He had the courage to do what a lot of people that I bet were carrying guns didn't do. Idaho is a constitutional carry state. We don't need a permit to carry. I guarantee a lot of people were carrying in that vicinity and chose not to engage. I don't fault them. I don't belittle them. That you can't, for myself anyways, I can't be a Second Amendment absolutist and then mock somebody for not getting involved when they could have. I don't know their circumstances. I don't know their mental state. I don't even know their abilities. Maybe it's better that these people didn't get involved. But one man at least had the courage to do it. Allegedly had the courage to do it. It sure appears so. And I hope we find out who this dude is. And if he truly is a hero, he deserves something. Something. Now, while we were talking about that, made me think of one more thing involving engaging an individual. Like if we decide to stop a threat, there's a lot of things to consider this situation. First of all, very first off the bat, have you come to peace with yourself that you could in that kind of a situation? I'm being cryptic on purpose, but hopefully you get what I mean. If a bad guy came into your home and you had the means and ability to stop him, could you do it? Be honest with yourself. Don't give me the Rambo answer. Be honest with yourself. Could you erase the situation? That question is far deeper and far more important than what most gun owners actually think that it is. There's a lot of consequences that come from that very action, that very decision. There are a lot of innocent people in jail that have made that choice, that decision in advance, and had the courage to act on it. I'm not saying don't make that decision. I'm not saying never defend your family. You should absolutely defend your family. But you need to understand that there's lots of consequences that ripple once you throw that stone into that lake. A lot. And I don't know how many people actually have considered that situation, that aftermath. I'm not going to sit here and say you have to buy this second or self-defense insurance or that or whatever, have a retainer. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to make that. That is a very personal decision. You have to make that choice. Are there companies that are probably better than others? Yeah. And I'm not an attorney, so I can't tell you what to do. This is not legal advice in any ways. And if you do take this as legal advice, well, you're dumb. Another thing, another question you need to ask yourself is, even if you're not taken to court, which chances are, we live in a litigious society. If you do have to erase a situation, you're going to go to court. And even if you're found innocent and everything is hunky-dory, let's say it's in your house. I built this house. I built this house with my bare hands. Could I live in a house where I know I had to make that choice? Would my family want to come back into a home where they know that happened? Am I willing to live with the repercussions of taking a life? Mentally, emotionally, maybe physically? I don't think people really consider how serious of a decision it is when you put that gun in the waistband or in your purse, which you probably shouldn't carry in your purse. When you choose to carry life-saving devices, have you actually thought of the consequence of what if I have to use this today? It is not a flippant decision, and it pisses me off when people treat it that way, or when the anti-gunners look at people that have made that commitment as idiots, as flippant, just whimsical people that make wild decisions on a whim. That you shouldn't, if that's what it is. But I just hope, I don't even know if this is coming across the way I want it to. I guess it boils down to this. If you plan to carry life-saving devices, whether it be sharp, whether it be spicy juice, whether it be shocking, or whether it puts holes in things, the decision that you made to put that on your person and to be a protector, not a vigilante, not pseudo police, but a protector. Have you seriously weighed those consequences? That decision's heavy, and there are far too many people that have should be justified the situation that they've used these life-saving tools in. I can think of one in particular in Colorado. Self-defense, what we would consider a cut and dry case. Well, he's doing time in prison. because he lost a court case. Should have been justified. Should have been open and shut, clear as day. But when you make that decision and you go to court, because you will go to court, you're definitely going to jail, but you will go to court. Are you willing to put 12, I can't remember what a jury is. Are you willing to put your freedom in the balance of 12 people that have no idea who you are and you have no idea how they see what the situation is? I mean, that's the lottery, man. That's a huge decision. But please don't take this as don't carry life-saving tools. Don't do it. It's not worth the risk. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Just to understand the severity of carrying life-saving tools, because there are consequences. There are consequences, and God forbid if that guy, the alleged good guy, if he missed and one of those rounds went somewhere it shouldn't have, and hurt somebody else, man, that's bad too. All these things are just consequences, things you really, really need to think about when you do what you think is correct, when you think it's the right choice, and sometimes nobody else sees it that way. So, the moral of this whole show, here it is. I'm going to try and do my best to wind it down. Maybe we'll share a couple more things, but I don't know yet. The moral of this whole story is life changes fast. It comes at you in ways you didn't expect and a time that you did not even think about. Situations change in an instant. Whether it be having to evacuate from an emergency fire, excuse me, or to react in a deadly situation. We don't know when these circumstances arrive. If we had a magic 8-ball, remember those? I used to have, what happened to my magic 8-ball? You could shake and it could tell you exactly what was going to happen in your day. I think we'd all be millionaires if nothing bad would happen. But then, you know what? We would never grow. We would never become better people, honestly, if we didn't meet some kind of resistance. But think about that one for a while. You need the resistance to grow, just like lifting weights. If you've decided to be a peacemaker, a sheepdog, which that term used to be so cool, now it's just kind of tarnished with so many people using it. A protector, a provider. If you've made the decision to carry things to keep your family safe, which is a courageous decision, because so many people don't want that right, and don't want you to have that right. It just creates victims. Just be prepared. Be prepared in every way possible. Okay, that's where that's the moral of the show. Is just be prepared, because you never know. All right, a couple of things I need from you guys. First of all, do you want me to kind of dive into my take on a go bag, an oh crap bag? Do you want that kind of content? Do you want me to make something up for you? What about a get home bag? We can talk about that stuff if that's what you want to talk about. That'd be great. I've been wanting to talk about Sir John Knight in reference to our gun rights now. Do you want me to dive into the more of the historical stuff? You want me to jump back in kind of the roots when we start talking about SCOTUS stuff? Because there are some amazing cases coming up that could really determine the landscape of AR-15s in the United States. Big deals. We can talk about that. I have another video. If you saw I think it was just on Instagram. I might have posted it on X. I think I actually did post it on X. A very vague picture about a potential video coming up. This video that I have in my mind, if all goes well, it will be pretty damn amazing. The only reason why I haven't filmed it yet is just because how hot it has been outside. And I don't really feel like going out and shooting because I have to go out to my secret shooting spot, and there's no shade, and I don't want to get my camera equipment out there when it's like 100 degrees and only be able to film for like 15 minutes because everything overheated. Because I'm going to need some time on this video that will come out. And it's going to be epic. If it works the way I got in my mind, it's going to be awesome. So it's going to happen. Now, here's a bit of a plea for you guys. I have been stuck around 200 subscribers, and I kind of hate doing this in a way too, but I've been stuck around 200 subscribers for a while. Now, I put it out before and I put it out again. Once I hit 1,000 subs, I'm going to get pepper sprayed in the face. Adam from Spartan Mode has already agreed to do it to me, which is totally fine. So once I hit 1,000 subs, I'm going to get pepper sprayed. Maybe when we hit 500, I have, I don't know if you can see it back there. Oh, you can kind of see over my right shoulder. Yeah, roll my shoulder. There is, so that's my little fall asleep chair. There is a Sic Semper Tyrannis flag sitting on that I had made for the show. Only a few of them got made and sold on, like 3. I think 3 of them were made and sold on eBay, on my eBay store. I have one still in the package. Now there's rare as hen teeth. So maybe, and it's a 3x5 flag, and it's cool. Maybe when we hit 500 subs, I don't know, maybe that could go to a new home. When we hit 400 subs, we'll talk about it. How's that? But I'm willing, it's still in the packaging. In fact, I probably should pull it out and look at it. I have never looked at the flag, but I know it's there because it was a demo for me. I bought it, and then this one back here, I must have bought one off eBay and didn't even realize it. I don't know, I'm special. But there's this one here, and that's why it's back there, because it was a little ski wampus, and I kept it. But the other one is in the package. So I don't know. Maybe, what do you guys think? 500 subs, I give away a very rare range-minded podcast flag, because for some reason they won't make me any more of them. If I find some other place to do it, maybe I will. But as far as I know, there's maybe 3 in existence, and yeah, they're cool. So, yeah. What else? Oh, subscribers. Yeah, so jump in there. It'd be great if we could get 500 subs, because that also bumps me to a level to where I can actually start doing lives and making some money. Yes, I know I could do lives right now, but it'd be more of an incentive to push a little bit of foundation this way. Second way you can really support the show, well, obviously the easiest way is to like, subscribe, and share. We all know that. Another way is to jump on. I mentioned my eBay store for the podcast. There is a bunch of stuff on the eBay store. There's also a bunch of stuff that's not sold on eBay that's sold on my TikTok shop. So you can jump to the TikTok shop and buy stuff specifically from TikTok that's not available on eBay, or vice versa. So there's 2 ways to get some unique items. I haven't jumped on board for the next patch set yet, but there are still a few left. And here's the other dumb thing. Those are only available on the website, because I don't like to integrate, whatever. But rangemindedpodcast.com. We've got, I think, 4 patch designs on there. There's still, those have been limited run as well. There's not a ton of those floating around either. I've only made 50 of each one of those patches, and a few of them have already gone out. So I have to recount. There might be 15 or 20 left of the really cool ones. So like the Dangerous and Unusual patch and the Killdozer patch, there's probably not a lot of those left in inventory. I got to go count those, actually. That reminds me. Anyway, what else? That's probably it. You guys are awesome. Hopefully what I wanted to share in this video came across. And we'll see. We'll see. But a couple things I need you guys to do. 3 things to be exact. I need you, first of all, to stay free. And I need you to stay armed or safe. Both are contingent with each other. Not contingent. they work together. We'll just stay free, stay safe, and then stay, of course, range-minded. You guys are awesome. Don't do dumb things. Listen to your mom. All right, peace out.